You're listening to Turi Writer's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi along with Marcy Persky. In this installment, it's remarkable what we forget. It's amazing what we misplace. And is there anyone left in America who doesn't know what the office couch is for?
Life has been an ordeal.
Yes.
Let me tell you all about it.
Tell me all about your end of the ordeal. I'm waiting.
And then I'm sure you have some splaining to do as well.
Only a little, but go ahead. You start.
Okay, so yesterday.
Yes.
We were going to record. We had a date.
Yes.
And I had to go to Flagstaff. And I had everything planned out by blocks of time to make sure that I was here back to record in my seat at the time that we had agreed upon.
And
then the kid says to me, the kid riding shotgun who all of a sudden has forgotten to drive or something, I don't know, I'm turned into her Jeeves or James or Uber or whatever, except I get no money.
All right.
And she said, can you stop at this big box store? Or it's a medium box store. We don't really have big box up here.
Okay.
So we stepped at this medium box store because she needed some art supplies. And by then I was really, really needing water. So she had a gift card for art supplies. I gave her my debit card and said, buy 2 bottles of water. So I'm waiting. I said, I'm going to sit in the car and wait for you because I'm just tired of moving around. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And waiting. Half hour. I get a text saying, I'm sorry. I think I lost the cards.
Oh.
I walked over to where I let her out at the front door. No cards. Went to the service desk. No cards. Started walking around the store, following her tracks. I don't know. It was almost an hour. Okay. I see my kid checking out in the checkout line.
Huh.
And I said, what are you doing? And she said, oh, I found them. Something she was buying, some kind of a bag or something, and she just threw them in the bag. I realized my kid is turning into me because that is like something I would so do. And she looked at me and she said, oh, I guess I have pregnancy brain. I said, no, I think you have genetic mom brain.
It is a little scary to see your kids doing stuff that
Isn't it?
Yeah, that are you. Like, I cannot function if I'm really hungry. Just stay away from me.
Oh, I know.
It's true. As a former friend of mine likes to say, you could lose an arm. I thought, okay, well, that's just me. But now if I'm helping the small cutie with a paper or something, he'll have these just wildly disproportionate, furious reactions to small questions. And after about 6 of these explosions, I'll say, are you hungry?
Have you eaten,
Have
dear?
you eaten anything? So, yeah, they do turn into you. It's true. They really do.
I readily admit I'm queen of putting things where I won't forget.
Ah.
All the time. Always something important. It's always where I won't forget.
Yeah.
Right now, and don't tell them, but I'm looking for our passports. Because we're supposed to go enjoy a hurricane next week.
Oh, right. For your anniversary. Yeah. Hurricane season in Mexico.
Woohoo.
Woohoo. Well, I sympathize. Here's the thing about putting something someplace where I won't forget it. I only get to do it once. It's like crazy glue. If you leave it someplace for 10 seconds, it sticks permanently. So
that's true.
Once I put something somewhere, that's fine. But I must never, ever, ever put it anywhere else, no matter if the place that I first put it makes no sense. So, for example, I was going to New Mexico to speak to the New Mexico broadcasters, and the spousal unit, bless his heart, actually said, oh, you're bringing some books to sell. Do you have your Square? That's the little credit card scanner.
Right.
And I said, oh, yes, I know just where it is. And I opened the drawer, and then I remembered that I had thought of a better place for it. And that was
And
like 20 minutes of like, well, where was
at
the,
least
I
you
know
found
there
it.
was, where would be the logical better place than right here with the postage stamps and the USB sticks? Where would be the best? Two drawers down, by the way, was the better
Oh,
place.
two doors down.
Two drawers
Wasn't
down.
that a band?
Yeah,
Or three doors down?
yes, yes, something like that's right. I see. There's your memory working. You can
Well,
remember
see,
that.
my friend out here called me the other day. She lost her computer mouse, and she gets hangry just like you do.
Uh huh.
And she was tearing apart her whole house looking for this mouse because it's the only one she had because the last one, her dog ate it or something. She found it in the fridge. She was so hungry that she put the computer mouse in the fridge when she
That
got
at least
food.
makes some kind of sense.
Yeah, I
Uh,
guess.
I could understand how that happened. What I don't understand is what was wrong with the first drawer that I put the square scanner
Yeah.
into? Why did I decide that that was not a good place, but that two drawers down was a better place? What was I thinking? Speaking of what were people thinking?
Yes.
There I am at the New Mexico Broadcasters Association having a really good time. And I sat through a seminar, a really interesting seminar. I love a good metaphor. And this guy was like Metaphor City. He had a picture of a houseboat in Kentucky that had sunk, and it was a metaphor for teamwork. Plus, I learned something about how you raise a sunken boat. Did you know that the first 2 feet are the hardest because they get stuck in muck?
There you go.
Unfortunately, he had one bad metaphor.
Uh-oh.
And also, let me digress for a second and say that when you've been speaking for a long time, it's a bad idea to keep telling people, this is the last thing I'm going to say. Don't keep saying that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the,
don't make any
the
promises.
fifth time you say, this is the last slide or this
Yeah.
is the last story, I don't know if it's anybody else or maybe I was hungry. I just wanted to stand up and go, so all right, that was the last three were the last one. But he
Why
was
didn't you just start clapping? Just stand up and get, yeah.
I was a guest. I was a speaker. I didn't get to do that. But in what I have to say is a spectacular case of not knowing how the world has changed. At the beginning of his slide presentation, he shows a picture of a big old leather couch with like a Cincinnati Reds blanket draped over it. Fine, I could be anybody's team. That's not even the point. He says at the
Yeah.
at the end, I'm going to tell you the purpose of this couch, this slide. And at the end, he shows the picture of the couch again, and he says, and last, he says for the sixth time, he's promised us something will be the last. He says, last, I would encourage you to have an informal place where people can sit and talk about ideas that feels comfortable. And he's showing a picture of this leather couch. And all I can think of is the advice that I give to every young woman who ever asks me about succeeding in radio or TV or
Never
journalism.
sit on a leather couch next to a program director, a general manager, a morning drive guy, or anyone else with a wiener. Is that
Right,
what you said?
right, exactly. This is what I say to them. I say,
Harvey Goldstein rule.
don't sit on the couch. It's like a horror movie, Don't answer the phone.
No
Don't-
bed.
Don't sit on the couch. And he's just blithely going on with this big picture of this leather couch. And I'm thinking, and he's mentioned that he has 3 daughters. And I'm thinking, I guess nobody's
Clueless.
told them not to sit on the couch. And so I thought, okay, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm overly. So I walk up to a couple of different women who've been at this seminar and I say, can I just ask you what you made of the couch? And one woman said, oh my God, I just broke out in goosebumps. I couldn't believe he showed a picture of a couch. That's the last place I would. I asked 4 women. They all had the exact same response.
Oh,
stay off the couch. So the next night, the big awards dinner, it was fast forward just a little bit. And there he is at the awards dinner at some table. And I say to him quietly, I have a little feedback that you might find helpful. And I'd already told him I liked your metaphors. I told him after the
Yeah.
session, well, all the stuff I liked because I was speaking right after him. But I didn't say anything about the couch because at that point I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't crazy and check with some other women. I said I did love I went through my list again. I said, but I have to speak with you about the couch.
Yeah.
And he's looking at me like, what? The couch? You have to speak to me about the couch? And so I relayed, this is the advice I give to all women. And I checked with other women. We all feel exactly the same way. Stay off the couch. I said, and I know that that's not how you mean it, but you just need to
That's
know
exactly what it is.
that the minute that couch goes up there and he says, he says, fair point, fair observation. I'm thinking, I can't believe you're still standing here and not racing to your room and deleting the photo of the couch.
How old is this guy?
I don't know, he's got a kid who's a college graduate, so presumably he's like, 40s, something like that.
That's not a kid.
A
little behind. A little behind.
I don't even. How is it possible that? I guess maybe because what he says by way of cursing is "gall darn," like "gall darn it," or "dad gummit," and that's
from
fine.
Wisconsin.
I grew up Kentucky. Remember the Cleveland whatever they were on the couch blanket.
Yep,
so yep. I understand that. And a lot of the, by the way, I flipped him out. There was a dinner beforehand, and as some of you know, I only eat kosher meat. So when I go out, I eat vegetarian, and I'm picking through the offerings on the buffet and inquiring about what's vegetarian. And he looks at me and goes, "Are you vegan?" And I've already heard the Kentucky drawl, and I've already ascertained where he's from. So just for kicks and giggles, I said, "I'll bet you've never met anyone like me before." And I just wait for like the movie horror sound effects, and I say,
Yeah.
"I'm Jewish." And he was like,
That's worse than a vegan.
He managed. Actually, what he did was he just blushed bright red, and I just thought, okay, all right. And he's in freaking the entertainment business, so he has to have met some more of us. But it is kind of remarkable that someone can get to be 40-something years old and not know that you should stay off the couch if you're a woman and
That's
never
true.
have met anybody who is Jewish before. I mean, that's just astonishing
actually,
to me.
doesn't he know that we Jewish women own Hollywood? Come on.
Well, he would have paid a lot more attention to my advice about the couch if that were the case.
I guess he doesn't listen to Kanye.
Oh, Lord. Maybe they don't have Kanye in Kentucky either. Assuming you've come this far because you enjoy the podcast, may we recommend my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air. It's available at your neighborhood bookstore or on Amazon. And if you're feeling especially generous, please leave the podcast a good review. Thanks.